The death is reported of Mrs. Hannah Toronka of 28 Falcon Street, Kisii, off Shell Old Road, who died on Sunday the 31st of August, aged 50. She is survived by her husband, Mr. Abu Toronka, children, Solomon Abu Jr., Teresa Ruth, Christopher Sine, and Edwin Mercy Toronka. Father, Peter S.K. Amara of 28 Falcon Street, Kisii. Mothers, Mrs. Teresa Nyawo Amara and Mrs. Dalinda Amara in Bo. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at 28 Falcon Street, Kisii, or call on mobile numbers 079 633 620 or 076 332 525 or 079 709 055. May her soul rest in peace.
Jesus, keep me near the cross. There's a precious fountain, free to all the healed.
It is with deep sorrow that the family announces the passing of Rosalind Isata Briggs Williams, who died on the 18th of August. She is survived by her children, Bilkisu Zainab Conte and Francis Issa, sisters Miss Zainab Baby Sise and Mrs. Juliana Jackson Smith, several cousins, nieces, nephews, and in-laws at home and abroad, including Aisatu Deborah Mansare, Fatmata Seri, Kadi, Kadia Sanko, Fode Bangura, Fode Kala, and Maria Tu, members of the Christian Life Era Ministries, His Grace the Bishop Cyril Luke, and Reverend Olive Luke, Seri Kamara, and the Briggs Williams families. Funeral service will take place on Tuesday, the 9th of September at the Christian Life Era Ministries, 30 Berlin Street, Brookfields, at 2 p.m. Burial at the Kingdom Cemetery. Sympathizers may call on 078 001 001 or 077 875 710 or 088 323 83.
Bring its scenes before me. Help me walk from day to day with its shadow on me. In the cross, be my glory ever.
The Faulkner family announces the passing of Dr. Dalton Faulkner, who departed this life on Monday, the 18th of August, aged 79. He is survived by his wife, Mrs. Frances Faulkner, children, Selwyn, Timitayo, Folashade, and Anadebimpe, grandson, Lomayani, brothers and sisters, Ebu, Harold, Claudius, Herbert, Cyril, Omodele, Zina and Tiana, several cousins, nieces, nephews, relatives, and friends. There will be a vigil on Wednesday, the 10th of September at College Chapel Church, Rodin Street, at 7 p.m. Funeral service will be held on Thursday, the 11th of September at the College Chapel Church, Rodin Street, at 2:30 p.m. Burial at the Ascension Town Cemetery. Sympathizers may call on 077 9276 077 92 5664. May his soul rest in peace. The death is announced of Mama Nancy Goodman, commonly known as Aissata Magbelo, of 12 Main Road, number 2 River Village, aged 83. She is survived by her children, Mrs. Ami Kagbo, Abu James, and Jane Bradshaw, 19 grandchildren, 27 great-grandchildren, relatives and friends, including the Goodman, Thomas, Conte, Pratt, Bell, Johnson, Macaulay, Mansare, Kagbo, Koroma, Dumbuya, Bradshaw, Kapia, and Decker families of number 2 River Village, Bobo, Sussex, Shabro Town, Toke, York, Aberdeen, Kingdom, Banana Water, Congo Cross, and overseas. There will be a vigil on Tuesday, the 9th of September, at number 2 River Village from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Funeral service is on Wednesday, the 10th of September at the Lord of the White Sand Lutheran Church, number 2 River Village at 1:30 p.m. Burial is at the village cemetery. May her soul rest in peace.
Language, come to the mercy seat, fervently kneel. Here bring your wounded hearts, here tell your anguish.
In loving and affectionate memory of their beloved mother, grandmother, and a sister, Fanny Catherine Kanu, who departed this world on the 6th of September 2024. It's been a year, Mommy, since you left us. You were our greatest blessing, and we miss you more than words could ever express. The memory of your love is a comfort that surrounds us. Even in your absence, we know you are safe and happy with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, dearly missed by your children, grandchildren, brothers, and the rest of the family. Rest in peace, Mommy.
Throne of God, pure from above, come to the feast of love, come ever know. Like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll.
In loving memory of our dear wife, mother, and grandmother, Mrs. Frederica Honorakewili, who departed this life on the 6th of September 1999. 26 years have rolled so quickly. It seems like yesterday. We love you, but Jesus loves you best. Sleep on, beloved. Sleep and take your rest till we meet again on that beautiful shore to part no more. You will always be remembered by your husband, Chris, children, Festina, Christopher, Cyril P., and Christosia, several grandchildren, and relatives at home and abroad.
Let this blessed assurance control, that Christ hath regarded my helpless estate, and hath shed his own blood for my soul. It is well.
The 6th of September marks the 8th anniversary since you left us on planet Earth, Mrs. Millicent Modupegigba. Mom, you departed this life when we needed you most. You were such a loving mother, grandmother, wife, sister, colleague, and friend. Sadly missed by daughters Mrs. Linda Williams and Mrs. Agnes Vangau. grandchildren, brothers and sisters, uncle and aunt, nieces and nephews, and the entire family at home and abroad. Only the heart that loves knows the sorrow of parting. Sleep on, beloved, sleep and take your rest. Lay your gentle soul upon the Saviour's breast, till we meet to part no more. We love you, but Jesus loves you best. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Lord, hasten the day when our faith shall be sight. The clouds we will bow and
The Koma families in Kitbo, Yonibana, and Mile 91 report the death of Mr. Sam Fode Umar Koma, retired Deputy Director, Adult Education Unit, Ministry of Education, Freetown. He died on the 17th of August, aged 71. He survived by his wife, Mrs. Henrietta Mabiti Koma, in the USA. Children, Mr. Peter Abdul Koma, DCA West Anaya District Council, Miss Josephine Yayebu, Miss Tina and Mr. Sam Alfred Bobson Koma, all in the USA. Brothers, Mr. Abbas Koma and Mr. Mohammed Koma, Sister Adama I Koma, several grandchildren, nephews, nieces, cousins, uncles, aunts, close friends, and other relatives include Mr. Saidi Contes, Senior Director, NRA, Mr. Ahmed Sebum Kanu, Chairman, Executive, and members of the SLPP Tonkolili District, His Excellency President Julius Madabio, Honorable Vice President Mohamed Julde Jallo, Mr. Jimmy Batilo Songa, the National Chairman of the Sierra Leone People's Party, Dr. Prince Alex Hadin, the former National Chairman of the Sierra Leone People Party, Parantawali National Secretary General SLPP, the President and members of the Old Boys of St. Francis Secondary School, Makeni, and the Chairman and members of the Nurses Pensioners Association, Northern Chapter. The board will be laid out on Thursday, the 18th of September, at the SLPP headquarters at 11 a.m. A vigil will be held on Thursday, 18th September in Mile 91 at 8 p.m. Funeral Mass is on Friday, the 19th of September at the Catholic Church, Mile 91 at 11 a.m. Burial at the family grave in Mile 91. Refreshment and family gathering after burial at the residence of Mr. William Bangura at Mafonde, opposite Concern Office, Mile 91. Sympathizers may contact Mr. Ahmed Sebum Kanu of Upper Container on 076-617-235 or Mr. Peter Abdul Koma on 076-718689.
ways I am with you. Peace be still, my child. All the day long, this is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior.
The death announced of Joseph Vidal Bob Gray of 9 Back Street, Castle Farm, Kisi. He died on Wednesday, the 3rd of September, aged 27. He survived by his mother, Hawa Bob Gray. Funeral arrangements will be announced later.
Angels descending, bring from Savior, I'm happy and blessed, watching and waiting.
The death announced of Mami Satu Kailondo, formerly of 11 Sumala Town. She died on Thursday, the 2nd of September at the Blue Shield Hospital in Freetown, aged 91. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at Dr. Banya's residence, 1 Sumala Town or Banya's Compound, Kailaun, or call on the following numbers: 076-562-449, 076-607-243, or 030-166-3 900.
This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long.
The death is announced of Mrs. Priscilla Omope Matilda Conteny Johnson, formerly of 85 Soldier Street, Freetown. She died on Wednesday, the 27th of August, aged 95. She survived her children, Phoebian, Michael, Susan, and Junior. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at 85 Soldier Street, Freetown, or call on 078 039 000. 076-170-419 or 078-533-448.
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love.
The death took place on Friday, the 22nd of August, Legal Wilberforce, commonly called grandmother, aged 70. She survived her children, Sylvester Kittel, Joseph and Anthony Lewis, Fatmata Swari and Thomas George in the USA, stepchildren, Abike, Christopher, Oyoko, Moses, Mrs. Bango, and Mr. Omo Kittel. Several siblings, grandchildren, in-laws, nieces, nephews, close friends, and other relatives at home and abroad. A vigil mass will be held at St. Luke's Catholic Church, Wilberforce, on Monday, the 8th of September at 6 p.m. There will be a laying out at a residence, 84 Lumley Road, Wilberforce, on Tuesday, the 9th of September from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Funeral mass will take place at St. Luke's Catholic Church, Wilberforce, barracks by the 34th Hospital, on Tuesday, 9th September, 12 noon. Burial at the Wilberforce Village Cemetery.
To God and to the Lamb I will sing. To God, your baptism grants the highest good. All glory to the Father, Son, and Holy.
The deaths announced of their beloved wife, mother, sister, grandmother, and friend, Mrs. Josephine Kadikanu Nirada of 8 Zainab Drive off Aberdeen Ferry Road, Moretown, Freetown, and of Kamakwe Town. She died on Thursday, the 28th of August, aged 72. She survived by her children, Mrs. Anna Dukure Jalo and Madam Josephine Kanu, son-in-law lawyer Ali Dukure Jalo, brothers Nadim and Ali Rada, both in the USA, and the Honorable Hene Rada. Sister Sada Kadi in the UK. Several grandchildren, uncle, cousins, nieces, nephews, close relatives and friends at home and abroad. A vigil will be held on Thursday, the 11th of September at 8 Zainab Drive off Aberdeen Road at 7 p.m. Laying out is on Friday, the 12th of September at 8 Zainab Drive off Aberdeen Ferry Road, Moretown, Freetown at 8 a.m. Funeral service is at St. Anthony's Church, Sykes Street, Freetown at 1 p.m. Burial at the Kingdom Cemetery.
In the cross, he bled now wounded, with grief and shame weighed down, now scornfully surrounded with thorns.
In cherished memory of their mother, sister, aunt, grandmother, and in-law, Sarah and Albertina Abosede Lewis, formerly of 1 Louis Driveville Station, Freetown, fondly called Mommy or Auntie Sarah, who left this world suddenly on the 7th of September 2019 in the United Kingdom. Auntie Sarah, you left us without saying goodbye. The blow was heavy and the shock severe. It was unbelievable that you left so soon. It is enough that Christ knows all and he will make it plain. Continue to rest in paradise and take your rest. Whatever heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are stilled, when striving cease, my comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. By the Lewis family at home and abroad.
For sinners' gain. Mine was the transgression, but thine the deadly pain. What language shall I borrow to thank thee, dearest friend?
The Cole, Wilson, Cole and Cummings families marks the 25th anniversary of the death of our beloved father, brother, grand and great-grandfather, Mr. Patrick David Cole, who died on the 6th of September 2000 at the age of 68. Time passes and the memories live on. It only seems like yesterday. Sleep on, by children Patricia, Bobo Cole, Valerie, Gerald, Prince, Patrick, and Marcel, several grand and great-grandchildren, the Wilson, Cole, and Cummings families of Kisii.
Shield me when I must die. Remind me of thy passion when my last hour draws.
Life goes on, they will leave me. Only this dust and silence surrounds me. These tears are falling down, but they're not in.
The Kamara family at home and abroad announces the passing of their father, grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend, retired Colonel Ali Brahma Yamba Kamara, commonly known as Avivavo, of 39 Beach Road, Lumley, and of Ukamba Buya Rumende Chiefdom, Karine District, who departed this life on Wednesday, the 27th of August, aged 71. Colonel Kamara faithfully served his nation in the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, ISLAF, with courage, integrity, and devotion. Throughout decades of service, he rose with distinction and left behind a legacy of discipline, sacrifice, and patriotism. He survived by his wife, Mrs. Abiose Jane Kamara, children Abdulrahim Kamara, Senesi Yusuf Kamara, Mrs. Fatu Davis Grant, Gladstone Peters Che, Abubakar Usman, Alimami of the Silent Police, Adama and Unisa Samuel Kamara, all at home and abroad. Brother and sister Abi Kamara and Fodi Kamara. Jazana prayers will be said at the Julius Mada Bio Parade Square, Wilberforce Hockey Pitch on Thursday, the 11th of September at 11 a.m. The body will be conveyed to his hometown immediately after the prayers to Kamba Buya Rumende Chiefdom, Karine District. There will be a traditional vigil Power Mende on the same day, Thursday, 11th September. Burial is on Friday, the 12th of September at the village cemetery. May Allah grant him Janatul Firdaus.
Oh, Allah, get me through this test. Ya Ilahi, please forgive me. I need you. Ya Ilahi, I know this day will come one day, but it's come too soon.
The death announced of Aja Mamusu Muminatu Conte, formerly of 63 Davis Street, Allentown, Kiosk, and of 3 Watson Street, McKinney. She died on Monday, the 25th of August, aged 101. She survived by children, Mr. Abdul Rahman, Ugia Conte Moy, Mrs. Ramatu Conte Bleach in London, Jamila Conte, Madam Efwa, Mr. Ross Sanfa, Mrs. Alima Conte Collier, and Mrs. Ajatula in London. Brothers and sisters, Mr. Sulaiman Conte, Mr. Abubakar Conte ABC, Mrs. Simbia Conte Jabi, Auntie K, and Mrs. Mayatu Dumbuyani Omarja. several relatives and friends at home and abroad. She has already been buried.
Please
You are ill if death draws near. This truth your troubled heart can cheer. Christ Jesus rest.
The death is announced of Mrs. Anita Oduyebo Ni Jalo, which took place on Friday, 29th August, age 51. Funeral arrangement will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at number 103 Main Regent Road, Hill Station, Freetown, opposite 30 Junction, or on 079 533 456 078 792 023 or 076 261 672. May her soul rest in peace.
Holy Spirit, three in one, to you, O blessed Trinity, be praised now and eternally.
The Macaulay family announces the home calling of Mr. Edward Macaulay of number 3 Cole Street, Cole Farm, which took place on the 1st of September, age 92. Funeral arrangements will be announced later.
Jesus, keep me near the cross.
The death is reported of Abdul Edward Baron of 35 Bauma Road, Metchem, Godrich. Took place on a Thursday, 7th August, age 68. A former director of the Mechanical Services Unit at the Sierra Leone Roads Authority and member of the Knight of St. John International. He is survived by his children Fatimata, Vida, Kelvin, Obai, Abdul Paul, Edward Thomas, Asid Isaac, Ishmael Prince, and Asida Barrow. Several brothers, sisters, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, close friends, and other relatives at home and abroad. The body will be laid out on Wednesday, the 10th of September, at his residence, 35 Bauma Road, Metchem, Godrich, at 9:30 a.m., followed by memorial mass at St. Anthony Parish Church at Sykes Street, Freetown, at 1 p.m. A vigil will be held on Thursday, the 11th September, at St. Francis Xavier Parish Church, McKinney, at 8:30 p.m. Funeral service will take place on Friday, the 12th of September, at the St. Francis Xavier Parish Church, McKinney, at 12 p.m. Burial at 9 Makama Road, McKinney. Sympathizers may call at 35 Bauma Road, Metchem, Godrich, Freetown, or 9 Makama Road, McKinney, or on the following numbers: 076 345 790 or 076 60 44 28 or 076 71 26 44. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
My ransom soul shall find rest beyond the river. Sheds its beams around me.
The death announced of Madam Rebecca Coma, commonly called Baby Magai of Usman Kabara Drive off Main Motor Road, Wilberforce. She died on Monday, the 18th of August, aged 58. She survived her children, Thomas Samuel Archibald, Moses Josiah, Augustine Suleiman Sanko, and Josephine Blossom Cora. Several sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, in-laws, close friends, and other relatives at home and abroad. Her body will be laid out at the 34 Military Hospital on Friday the 12th of September from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Station, back of Tennis Court, from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., followed by a funeral service at the church at 2 p.m. Burial at the Wilberforce Cemetery. There will be no vigil.
Tell me what's happened. So many voices in my head, but he told me that this day will come. Tell me, have I done enough?
Inna lillahi wa inna lillahi rajiun. The death is reported of Mrs. Musubuya Kamara, also known as Musufudia, of 4 Davis Street, Wellington, and also of 2 West Street, Freetown, aged 92. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at 4 Davis Street, Wellington.
Through this test,
Of bliss to bear the dreadful curse.
With gratitude to God for a life well spent, the death is reported of Mr. James Ekubolaje Samuel Williams, affectionately known as Joey, of 26 Glasgow Street, Wilberforce, which took place on Sunday the 31st of August, aged 73. He is survived by his wife, Mrs. Janet Williams, children Jeffrey and Toby Williams in the USA. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at his residence, 26 Glasgow Street, Wilberforce, or contact Janet Williams on 079 197 662. Christopher Wallace Johnson on 079 302 525 or Alpheus Scott on 031 463 788.
I will sing.
A pleasant good morning to you and a warm welcome to News Hour. I am Esther Sako. Coming up, SLTU vows to continue its nationwide strike action. ECOWAS, in partnership with the government of Sierra Leone, moves to tackle drug abuse in Sierra Leone by targeting young people in MDAs. And Ministry of Health launches digital recruitment platform for health workers. All the stories and many more are lined up in this edition of News Hour. Stay with us for the next 55 minutes. Schools across the country were scheduled to reopen on Monday, but as was expected, most schools were a complete ghost town as a nationwide strike action led by the Sierra Leone Teachers Union (SLTU) takes effect. According to the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Conrad Saki, the unpaid subsidy, a whopping 110 billion leones, which is at the center of the strike action, has been transferred to local banks for onward payment to schools. However, this was too late to avert the strike action. Parents and pupils were left disappointed over the stalemate between the SLTU and the government. SLBC reporters have been out and about to gauge the situation across the country. Let's begin in Freetown, and for that, we join Alwyn Roy Fox in this report.
As today being the 8th of September 2025, which is the initial date for the reopening of government schools in Sierra Leone. But today what we see is different compared to previous academic years, as in some schools the classrooms are closed and some teachers are not in attendance, and even the parents are taking their kids back home as no learning is going on.
The principal of the Prince of Wales Junior Secondary School, Kingston King, said that as school leaders, even though they were aware that the government had not paid subsidies for second and third terms from last academic year, schools should reopen as stated by the government.
My own duty as administrator is to come and make available the learning environment, as government has already stated that schools should reopen on the 8th.
This current situation underscores an overall disruption to the school calendar and threatens the academic progress of pupils. A parent, James Johnson, blamed the poor turnout of pupils on both the rain on Monday morning and the strike actions of teachers.
Turnout is very, very, very poor because, the heavy downpour of rain and the strike of the teachers, really some parents refuse at least and not sending their children to school.
Mary Solomon, a GSS 1 pupil of the St. Joseph's Secondary School, expressed her dissatisfaction as her expectations were not met on the first day of school, and ends up calling on the government to see to the needs of teachers.
To tell the government that the teachers have already worked for their money and they impact knowledge in us, so they need to pay the teachers so that the teachers will have zeal to teach us.
Haja Fatmata, another parent, pleaded with the teachers to be patient and come to the classrooms to teach, as there is always a reward for good work. For now, the new school year is far from being normal, with many classrooms still shut down and lessons yet to begin effectively. For SLBC News Hour, I'm Alwyn Roy Fox reporting.
And now still in Freetown, our intern reporter, Theresa Keto, has this report on the atmosphere at the Syrian Muslim Brotherhood located in Calabar Town.
At around 7 to 8 a.m. in the morning, The Sierra Leone Muslim Brotherhood, located at the heart of Mayankine Calabar town, is usually filled with pupils coming from different parts of the community, with faces brimmed with smiles and excitement for the new academic year. However, the weather this morning, coined with the press release issued by the Sierra Leone Teachers Union (SLTU), has put the lively walls of the school in an unusual level of quietness. The school compound, which is usually filled with pupils' chatter and laughter, is rather stunned by a wind of complete quietness and serenity, with only a few teachers and no pupil present at the school. The classrooms are found completely empty and utterly quiet, like it was left months back for the recess. It is hoped that the preceding days will be better, as such incident will kill the eagerness of the pupils to learn. Therefore, the school authorities are calling on government to step in this situation and alleviate the plight of the school and other government-assisted schools in the same state.
And now, away from Freetown, the chairman of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union in Bombali District, Abubakar Kamara, said that the strike action would continue until the demands are met. From Makeni, Asan Foye Kamara reports.
Attendance in schools across the city on opening day turned out to be significantly low. In the places we visited, we found only a few pupils, and some were utterly empty. No teachers, no pupils, and no other person.
There are still more teachers out there who are genuine teachers teaching that have still not been restricted.
Abubakar Kamara, Regional Secretary, SLTU.
Because an injury to one is an injury to all. So we cannot leave them behind. Otherwise, they will continue to wallow in suffering. And so, as far as we are concerned, these two key issues, we will not compromise on them. The payment of backlog fee subsidy for the past academic year, we will not compromise. For this year, which is supposed to have been paid for now, the first time, of course, by the engagement we've got, we'll give them more to the end of this month.
Mr. Kamara said until considerable actions were taken to mitigate all they highlighted in their strike action press release, they would continue to freeze activities. Meanwhile, at Geraldine Elementary Private School, everything seemed to be normal. Mabinti Jallo, a JSS teacher, said they were not affected. She expressed their determination to keep the school calendar going as stipulated.
All man come today within our school.
Civil society, parents and guardians urged government to act swiftly. They said authorities needed to treat the issues of education with utmost seriousness, and any day without learning affected the overall curriculum. Both the Teaching Service Commission and the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education in the district were yet to respond to the situation.
Meanwhile, the chairman, Conference of Principals in Kono District, has called on the government to address the resolution put forward by the Sierra Leone Teachers Union to enhance the effective learning process. This report was sent in by Dauda Kamara, read in the studio by Christiana Kamara.
The Chairman Conference of Principals pointed out the principals are not happy to lose a day without teaching pupils, but spoke about what he called their legitimate concerns affecting the schools in Kono District.
The concerns they will raise, they're really necessary, and then things say it's timely for them to call up a strike action. So as a result of it, then put out a notice way as official today that all schools across the country, when a government and government-assisted school, for go on strike.
At the Islamic Junior Secondary School, the principal, Jusumana, highlights the challenges of school subsidies, teaching and learning materials, and the removal of some teachers from the voucher. He emphasized that school subsidies are key to settling teachers who are not paid by the government.
Subsidy is not forthcoming. They find it very difficult for run schools. So they cry to Papa government. If money they come, we will use that money for buy them things, but the money back not forthcoming. So now the problem is how they get.
He called governments to intervene and salvage the situation. The head teacher at the Islamic Girls Primary School, Kenema Sandy, echoes similar challenges that captured school subsidies, teaching and learning materials. She called on governments through the ministry to settle the issue and pay the outstanding subsidies. Parents and guardians expressed frustration and called on the government to settle the issue raised by the school authorities.
And now we are going to end the series at the Methodist Secondary School in Freetown, where the principal, Anisu Lemine, has appealed for an amicable resolution to the issue.
Basically, I want to talk about the strike action that the SLTU has brought about in the schools. Basically, we want to encourage government to come in so that this problem can be settled. Because if this problem continues between the SLTU and the government, the children are going to suffer. And we don't want the children to suffer. We don't want them to sit at home. It will be a big burden on the parents and all the rest of it. So we are talking to government. We are praying that government has the ability or the provision for the schools so that the subvention is paid and the schools continue. Because the school calendar should not be distorted. Other levels will be sitting to the Becker, others will be sitting to the WAS, and when there is an obstruction, the children will basically suffer. So we want government to understand the situation, to come in and salvage the situation. I thank you very much.
Away from SLTU strike action, Shebema Town in Freetown District witnessed a great moment for education as the Deputy Minister of Technical and Higher Education, with support from his family and friends, handed over a new 3-classroom block to the Methodist Church. Sergeant Aziz Kamal said the gesture was born out of his early experience in the Eastern region, where access to primary school shaped his academic journey. Jonathan Turner reports.
This preschool early childhood development center that Honorable Minister Sergeant Aziz Kamara and his family then don't build with the community.
Before the renovation, the structure depicted on a banner displayed at the ceremony was in a dilapidated condition, posing serious challenges for both pupils and teachers. Today, that crushing building has been transformed into a modernized, child-friendly learning facility fitted with essential materials to provide children with a safer and more conducive environment. The donor, familiar face and son of the soil, Deputy Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Sergeant Aziz Kamara, emphasized that education was not only about personal development, but it's also about adding value to the community and the younger generation. He noted that the school contributes to human capital development and will play a pivotal role in nurturing the next generation of leaders.
Well, I think, when I went to school, I was 6 years old. So this is giving an opportunity to little children at 3 years old to be in preschool, play-based learning, functional education, so that they have an opportunity, they have a positive start to life.
For Deputy Minister of Basic and Secondary School Education, Emily Gogra, early childhood education was the way to go. She pledged her ministry's support to ensure that the school maintains a quality learning environment.
Build up their foundation. Here in Sierra Leone, we have used the integrated approach, bringing in the health and the nutritional aspects. Of course, there is a toilet, and they are planning to feed the children, giving them their nutritional value.
Chief Minister Dr. David Moinina Senge hailed the project as a shining example of citizens-led development. He described it as a critical investment in early childhood education that will positively change the lives of many children in Shebema and surrounding communities.
The government believes in early childhood development. We have these community teachers who are here, and these kids,
they're playing. I mean, we're talking play. It's part of how people learn. There's learning materials that they have. There's play materials, and that's part of what we want. This is the foundation of the country.
The church stakeholders and community leaders also expressed deep appreciation to the deputy minister, describing his intervention as a visionary act of service that will benefit generations to come. The school is set to open this academic year. For SLBC News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in partnership with the government of Sierra Leone through National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the Ministry of Health, is currently engaging young people from diverse MDs on the Universal Protection Prevention Curriculum for Substance Abuse Prevention. The 12-day training exercise is meant to drastically reduce substance abuse in Sierra Leone. Our reporter Mohammed Kouma tells us more.
The rate at which substance abuse is ravaging the lives of young people across the West African region has prompted ECOWAS to take practical steps to manage, if not completely eradicate, drug abuse, especially kush. In Sierra Leone, drug abuse is not as different as other countries within the region. It is on that note that ECOWAS, in partnership with the government of Sierra Leone through National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and Ministry of Health, is currently training young professionals from various ministries, departments and agencies on universal prevention curriculum for substance abuse prevention. The resident representative of ECOWAS, Ambassador John Azuma, stressed the need for collective efforts to combat drug abuse within the region, urging the participants to take full advantage of the training.
Participants, ECOWAS believes that investing in human capacity is central to building sustainable national responses. By strengthening prevention professionals with the right knowledge and tools, we can create healthier communities.
The Deputy Executive Director, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Prince Buliseni, also spoke on the importance of the engagement.
Considering the increase, I guess you may know, in substance use in Sierra Leone, particularly kush, which is the household name by now, the ECOWAS thought it fit to partner with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to roll this training out for substance abuse professionals. So this training is actually designed and target people who are engaged into substance use prevention. So they're more professional. So the NDLA, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, which is the agency responsible for drug demand and control, drug demand and supply reduction, had to partner with.
The participants will undergo 12 days rigorous training exercise by two master trainers, Dr. Martin Agwoje and Dr. Sylvester Kumsin, who will take them through various topics that are meant to drastically reduce substance abuse in Sierra Leone.
It is not only Sierra Leone, it is important that across the world, countries across the world should focus on prevention, because prevention really is the number one of the treatment that we need. Because when people start, they find it difficult to stop. But in particular to Sierra Leone, especially looking at the kush, epidemic, I will describe it, people need to have a good understanding of what they need to do to prevent the use of kush and other substances.
Upon the completion of the training exercise, it is expected that the trainees should be better placed to train other people on the need to prevent themselves from substance abuse. For SLBC, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Human Resource Management Office, HRMO, and the Public Service Commission, has launched a new digital recruitment platform, making a historic milestone in Sierra Leone's health sector. The initiative aims to recruit 3,000 health workers across all cadres through a digitalized process. Esther Susanette Wasi reports.
Definitely need to come in here to be submitted.
Presenting the analysis of the test case process, the Director of ICT, Ministry of Health, Kenema, outlined how the platform functions, noting that applicants can apply for several jobs across different cadres. During a one-week test period, he stated that 1,697 applications were logged, of which 1,224 were successfully submitted, while 477 remained as drafts. He also added that the system caters for two levels of users: the administrators, who manage the data, and applicants who submit their details directly online. Highlighting the government's efforts to standardize recruitment, he pointed to the introduction of the Public Service Commission Form 3 as the recognized template for applications.
Documents are allowed to be in that draft phase. Though it is utilizing our resource, more or less, the system here serves or acts as a storage. So, now you are going to upload the national ID, the birth certificate, educational certificate. It goes on and on. The supporting document, you can add as much as you want.
The Senior Permanent Secretary described the online platform as a major breakthrough in the country's recruitment system. He explained that the platform would allow every eligible Sierra Leonean to apply, with projections of between 15,000 to 20,000 applications expected. Deputy Minister 2, Ministry of Health, Dr. Jalikatu Mustafa, while officially launching the website, announced that applications would open on September 9th and will close on the 30th. She, however, emphasized that the new platform eliminates human interference in determining which applicants move to the next stage. Stakeholders in the health sector commended the initiative, noted that it would promote efficiency, fairness, and accountability in the recruitment of medical professionals nationwide.
Ceremony of the online application relating to 3,000 healthcare workers in the Ministry of Health. The goal of this recruitment actually is to recruit 3,000 healthcare workers. The objective is to ensure, the objective of this online application is to ensure that there is efficiency and fairness in respect of the recruitment process for the Ministry of Health.
With the launch of this digital platform, Sierra Leone is taking a decisive step towards strengthening its health workforce. Beyond filling vacancies, the initiative is expected to build a more transparent, credible, and inclusive system that will contribute significantly to the country's drive for improved healthcare delivery. For SLBC News, Esther Susanette Bassi reporting.
The National Commission for Social Action (NACSA) has convened a technical review committee meeting on the implementation of its flagship Poor Growth for Peace Consolidation and Youth Empowerment program. The program, designed to promote sustainable development, youth empowerment, and community resilience, is being rolled out in Kono, Kambia, Bonth, and Moyamba districts. Jonathan Tona reports.
The Pro-Poor Projects for Peace, Consolidation and Youth Empowerment Program is a project intervention in 4 districts. In the project, Kambia got 19.74 kilometers of feeder roads, 3 grain stores, 13 sub-projects. Moyamba has 16.70 kilometers of feeder roads, 2 grain stores, 9 sub-projects. Also, Bonth has 17.02 kilometers of feeder roads, 3 grain stores, 19 sub-projects. In addition, 2 major bridges, 64.9 meter and 64.8 meter spans have been built to connect Sandor to Benze and Kamara chiefdoms. In Kono districts, the Commissioner, Ambassador Anes Indomaina,
underscored that the program was addressing critical needs through the construction of feeder roads, grain stores, and boreholes, thereby improving infrastructure, food security, and access to safe water.
Continue with the efforts and engagement with stakeholders so that those roads are maintained, more especially in feeder roads. Grain stores, of course, you know, they are using them, and also boreholes we are doing, and we are training also in terms of what we say we're facing. We are training people to maintain those roads, to maintain those grain stores and dry floors. So all of these are efforts and collaborations as we go along.
In the review meeting, community representatives expressed gratitude for NACSA's interventions. They described the completed feeder roads as life-changing, easing the movement of people and goods across communities, and the grain stores and solar-powered boreholes are crucial in boosting agriculture and improving water supply.
Why NACSA have supported us greatly. We have our market at Barra Junction. We have our youth center, which is in Tio, almost at wall height. Our pavilion, which is also in Sobeni, ongoing, but we are satisfied, we are happy.
The service delivery, of course, is not only NACSA, but like my brother said, it was a partnership. We have been doing this, especially from the initial stage, having the roads, having the grain store, the identification and development of ideas from the community, up to the time
that when President said no matter to him, it does not mean where. We have dispelled that, we have demystified governance, let the people know that governance is about solving problems. We even told them that the president is a witch doctor who has come to cure the ailment of this country, and we are his own carriers because we get the concussion from his agent, and we go and administer that concussion so that people can get it. So on that note, I say thank you very much, and we look forward to the day when we all go to Kono to hand over those bridges. That will be the time when we witness the descent of the Holy Spirit.
Ambassador Ndumaina reaffirmed NACSA's commitment to delivering on its promises, stressing that the GPCYE program was not only strengthening local economies, but also fostering peace, consolidation through inclusive development. For SLBC News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
The Statistician General has declared open the Census Regional Cartographic Mapping Training. The 7-day training, which will be taking place across the country, is part of the planning process of the 2026 National Census, and the work journey called on the public to accommodate and provide the requisite information to the mappers for a successful exercise. Cynthia Kamara reports.
Visualizing demography and socio-economic data collection is among the plans and activities Statistics Sierra Leone will be embarking on ahead of the 2026 population census. The training of trainers on the national mapping is not different from them, which has brought together these trainers under one roof with the same agenda of understanding the mapping process. After the training, these trainers will also be cascading their knowledge to district staff.
Credible data plays a very vital role in maintaining trust and credibility. At the end of the day, it is this credible data that should be given to the government and its partners for development in this country.
The 7 days training will be focused on different principles and procedures of mapping, use of technology, and data quality management.
Started the 7 days training at all regions. So we are training about 218 trainees across the region. As I'm talking to you, the training is going on in Kenema for the eastern region, it's going on in McKinney for the northern region, it's going on in Port Local for the northwest region.
In all of this, how digitally poised is Statistics Sierra Leone as far as training is concerned?
So we have actually pushed the paper process far behind us, and we are now geared towards a digital data collection. And to support that, I mean, the government and the partners have ensured that they have provided the resources for us to get the architecture we have in place, be it the servers, the applications like the Geo app, Esri Enterprises, the Android tablets you'll be seeing here in the hall.
At the opening session, the facilitators emphasized on discipline and dedication to the cause. The Statistician General encouraged the public to accommodate mappers that will be going out to collect data as it falls under the planning stage of the 2026 population census. For Slbc News, Cynthia Kamar reporting.
As part of its ongoing inclusivity drive, the National Council for Civic Education and Development, NACED, has hosted a campaign aimed at enhancing political participation among youth with disability. The event, held at the Caritas Conference Hall in Kenema, brought together key stakeholders, including representatives from the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the National Commission for Persons Living with Disability, and Sight Savers. Aminata Fofana reports.
The chairman of the National Council for Civic Education and Development, NACED, Joseph Munda, emphasized the council's commitment to fostering inclusivity by integrating civic education into school curricula and training both teachers and pupils on the importance of involving persons with disability in decision-making processes. He highlighted that leadership development begins in schools and that sustainable peace could only be achieved through the active inclusion of youth and persons with disability. He appealed for what he called the dismantling of barriers that hinder access to education, citing unfriendly learning environments and limited financial support for tertiary education. He also stressed the need for equal rights and effective participation of persons with disability in national development. A representative from the Ministry of Youth Affairs shared findings from recent research indicating that persons with disability continue to face discrimination and rejection within their communities. He reminded attendees that every able-bodied person was a potential candidate for disability, urging society to treat persons with disability with dignity and caution. The ministry pledged to allocate 5% of rights-related initiatives to persons with disability in the next ECOWAS Youth Delegation, framing disability as a national issue requiring collaborative solutions. Under the Sight Savers project, discussions also touched on the enactment of the National Youth Council Act and the National Youth Disability Act, which mandates that at least 2 out of 7 council members must be persons with disability. Participants advocated for the inclusion of disabled voices in all institutions and decision-making platforms, reaffirming that the rights of persons with disability are human rights.
The end of the Campaign for Human Rights and Development International Charity has said that the police and judiciary are still facing infrastructural and logistical challenges as the country is waiting to usher in the new Criminal Procedure Act 2024. Abdul Fatoma was speaking to the Slbc's Dennis Fraser whilst giving updates on the current state of the justice system in the country.
According to the Chief Executive of Campaign for Human Rights and Development International, Abdul Fatoma, the current criminal justice system in the country is strongly challenged. He noted that in April this year, CHRDI undertook its usual monitoring and reporting of 8 police stations in the east and west end of Freetown, where it interacted with over 6,000 inmates in detention. He went on that CHRDI later found out that overcrowding was a major challenge in various police cells in the country. Abdul Fatoma noted that as the country ushers in the new Criminal Procedure Act of 2022, there was still the challenge of infrastructure and mechanisms, which was a major impediment for both the Sierra Leone police and the judiciary for speedily expediting the implementation of the law.
People who are in the holding centers
across the 8 police stations. So we are largely concerned about, their living condition. When you think about sanitation and you think about food and other hygiene, and they are there as suspects and they have not been found guilty, and so their other rights and liberty needs to be observed and respected by the state.
A call on the government to do more in training legal practitioners on the said act, just as the Sierra Leone police has started to do with new investigators.
The blatant disregard, for observing the provisions in the law by either law enforcement or the judicial officials, it sends a clear signal of lack of trust and lack of confidence. And when the justice system fails, the law failed, and when the law failed, it's the minority and the vulnerable people that bear the blow.
In the end, Mr. Fatoma said that there was need for collaborative action by both the Sierra Leone police and the judiciary in building on public trust. He pledged CHRDI's commitment in working with the Sierra Leone police and the judiciary to ensure that this is achievable. CHRDI is a non-governmental organization known for its work in human rights and development, advocating for social equality and justice through research, educational programs, and advocacy. It has worked with other civil society organizations as key agents in achieving its success. SLBC, Dennis Fraser reporting.
In Sierra Leone, caregivers often face enormous social and economic challenges, particularly for those caring for children living with a disability. But now a beacon of hope is emerging as the World Hope International, in partnership with the Lady Ellen Women's Aid Foundation, LIWAF, has pioneered an economic empowerment project to support such caregivers with a savings scheme designed and managed by the caregivers themselves. Harold Williams brings us this report.
And Papa, we don't clean. I must chop money, they left now 3,000, don't chop money. At times, they left chop money, that's why they left me. So now they take 1 month, when me picking. Pass, I go, with neighbor they cook, I go there, when they cook, they put some in picking. What feed and they halfway they left, me self eat.
It was a day of hope and celebration in the heart of Wellington. Caregivers of children with disabilities gathered to mark the first phase of the Economic Empowerment Share Out project. This initiative, led by World Hope International in partnership with Lady Ellen Women's Aid Foundation, provides small-scale financial support and business training. At its core, the Share Out program is a self-savings effort built by the caregivers themselves, who contribute weekly and collectively manage their pooled funds. For many of these women, the journey hasn't been easy. The burden of caring for a child with a disability, combined with economic hardship, leaves them vulnerable and often neglected by mainstream support systems. From selling slippers to running provision shops, the project is geared towards igniting change, restoring dignity, building resilience, and creating a ripple effect across the community. Many say the self-managed savings model, the Share Out, gives them a sense of ownership, trust, and accountability in their financial growth. World Hope International says this is just the beginning. Next year, a second phase will focus on advanced business skills training covering sustainability, marketing, and profit management, essential for long-term success. From hardship to hope, caregivers in Wellington are building not just businesses, but a better future, one savings group at a time. At the share out of their self-savings, the caregivers were understandably joyous in the moment.
As the government continues to embrace quality education, Kaba's International Academy was officially opened over the weekend. The ceremony, which took place at Kosotan, was the culmination efforts that have upgraded the school from its humble foundations 3 years ago. Harold Williams again.
At the opening of the Kabaz International Academy in the Western Area's Kosutown community, guest speaker Munda Isaac Korma said it was not just a milestone in the educational journey of the community, but a testament to the collective aspiration of its people for a brighter future. Mr. Korma commended the school building's modern standards with science lab and computer lab, and also commended the teachers and staff for their dedication and commitment towards shaping future leaders, saying that their role extends far beyond the classroom walls. Performing the traditional rites by pouring the libation for the school building, Paramount Chief Aya Dentin Bona Fomansa III of Konom commended the proprietress and the management for their hard work. PC Fomansa III encouraged the community to give their support to the school. He said this is a wake-up call for everyone in the country to support education. Proprietress of the school, Madam Habibatu Donba, said the opening ceremony serves as a testament of great dedication and shared commitment towards a brighter future. As a founder of Kabaz International School, she said the journey started many years ago when she was growing up in Sierra Leone. She mentioned that she attended school in a small, overcrowded classroom with a poor learning environment and lack of facilities. She said many children with potential face similar obstacles. Madam Domba said that despite government's efforts to increase access to primary schools, there's a significant gap in providing educational pathways that links to future employment. The proprietress, Madam Habibatu Dunbar, said that because of her struggles in childhood, it became a strength and not a weakness. She later said that advising parents and guardians, a representative from the Sierra Leone Police, Sir Rexin Ali, said the furniture and computers should be greatly taken care of. And even though there are cameras installed all over the school, there was no room for complacency regarding the school security. The principal for Kabaz International Academy, Tamba Aliu, said his role as principal is to see that the school takes the top position in external exams by providing quality education to the students.
In honor of a female military officer's dedication to service, the Ministry of Defense and the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces ASLAF have held an interfaith service in commemoration of the ASLAF Women's Day. The service took place at Sir Julius Maada Bio Parade Square. Sulaiman Babaturi was there and now reports.
And through the impact of the Christian faith, they are equal with men in the great achievement of.
It was a pleasing sight, seeing energetic women being celebrated for their quadruple role, serving as sisters, mothers, wives and defenders of the country. In recognition of their contributions to the nation, Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Amara Aidara Bangura, commended the over 200 military heroines present for their selfless sacrifices, efforts to break barriers, and serve in peacekeeping missions. He promised equity and bias-free military system that accommodates and provides opportunities for both male and female soldiers. He used the opportunity to update officers on the present and future undertakings by the ASLAF.
This year alone, we recruited 212 females from a total of 1,028. That shows the level of commitment we have in ensuring that we maintain the gender figures in the double digits. We shall be training 69 female as drivers in the next 2 weeks. They will go in 2 batches.
During the interfaith service, ASLAF spiritual heads delivered sermons on the importance of women in an organization and offered prayers for all ASLAF women.
Our theme, Empowering Women in Uniform, is not only a call to action, but also a recognition of the vital role women play in shaping peaceful, secure, and just societies within and beyond the armed forces. Consider yourself to be somebody. Without you, we cannot live. Without women, the men, they are zero.
This was just the beginning of a 2-day celebration as AXLAF planned to officially launch the AXLAF Service Women's Day. SLBC News, Sulaiman Babatue reporting.
It's now time for us to move on to another segment of the news this morning, and we're now going for business update.
Welcome to Business Update segment that brings you insight in business and its contribution towards positive impact in the economy and commerce across the country. I'm Dennis Fraser. In today's edition of Business Updates, we look at the seemingly price hike and purchase of school bags in markets. Now, with schools to soon reopen across the country, Guinness Store is packed with parents in a last-minute rush. Traders, seeing the high demand, have increased the price of school bags, making it more expensive than usual. Well, our intern reporter Aminata Kamara visited Guinness Store and put this report together.
Despite the annual rush of parents flooding Guinness Store for supplies, traders reported a different set a slow season. Many have been forced to hike the price of high-demand items like school bags, surprisingly cost-conscious shoppers. Fatmata Sandi, a trader at the Guinness Store, said that business was very challenging.
Business is not very easy because the people don't go back to markets, they don't count time. The price and the dollar is not very easy because the people don't go back to markets, don't go bam, they go give it. So people don't count time. So come back they can say, I want back. So they don't count the price. They can't say the bag is here.
The cost of goods have become very expensive due to the rise in exchange rates. Consequently, many parents are finding it difficult to afford school bags.
Now, even like somebody are not be the same. Some comrade they get some comrade they not very easy.
According to Aisha Ture, a parent, the price of school bags this year was significantly high compared to last year.
Well, this year be the worst for we the kindergarten. Like me say, I get past 500.
This is not easy for me. I have more than 5 children and my husband is not working. The cost of just one bag is now between 450 to 650 loans. With the high cost of living in the country, it is very difficult. Because of the steep price increase, even led to an argument with one of the traders.
Let Papa government see to bring the people in a Sierra Leone because we suffer. It's not easy for we, especially more with the woman there, with the struggle.
Shaku Suma, a trader at Guinness Store, acknowledged the parents' concerns about the price increase.
Well, the price we had from last week, don't share, now we add the price.
This year, we are selling them for 300 liras. This thing is because of the high price for shopping containers. The increased cost have made it difficult for parents to afford one.
The business right now is not easy right now. The business really hard. Why any can to that way for can buy right now for them picking it. So many people say that way don't buy last year, this year they can still use that.
As the new school term gets closer, the rush to buy supplies has already started. This brings needed business to traders, but forces parents to make tough spending choices.
Well, many thanks to our intern reporter Aminata Kamara and the business team. And that's all in this edition of Business Updates. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
And thanks there to Dennis Fraser for the latest in business updates. We now move on to entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to exciting entertainment news with me, Abdul Mansari. In this edition of entertainment news, former executive at Astronomer Christine Cabot files for divorce from her husband. Update on Baby Niger's eviction. And of course, we have Swad declares for Housemate Salon Season 4. Now, Christine Cabot, a former executive at Astronomer, has reportedly filed for a divorce from her husband following a widely publicized kiss camp moment with her boss during a Coldplay concert in July. According to the Daily Mail, Cabot submitted the divorce papers in a New Hampshire court on August 13th, less than a month after the footage of her and her also married boss, then CEO, Andy Byron went viral. During the July 16th concert, Cabot and Byron were captured on the big screen with their arms around each other. Once they realized they were being broadcast, they attempted to hide their faces. The Big Brother Naija 10/10 season has evicted 3 stunning stars from the house. Big Soso became the first to be evicted from the house after 6 weeks of twist, laughter and drama, followed by Ivata as the second and Doris the third to be evicted from the house. Earlier today, the 8th of September 2025, another drama burst in the house that has made Didi, Joanna and Roboy to have the slightest of chance in the house because of the phone call that Didi picked. Didi and Joanna were given 10 seconds to leave the house, whilst Roboy was given 2 minutes to say goodbye to his friends in the house. The phone has been set in the house as a trap for anyone that will pick it will be tried by Big Brother, and if failed will eventually leave the house. Alright, we say thanks to these remarkable stars that has given us enough joy in the house, and today marks their final day in the house as they bid farewell to the Big Brother Naija 10/10 season. And finally, Swad, the ex-wife of Leon Stars international football player Buya, has declared to participate in the Housemaid Salon Season 4. In her declaration, she stated that her journey was about growth, self-expression, and the opportunity to inspire others to embrace themselves. She expressed resilience and hope. Thus, she called on all Sierra Leoneans to join in supporting her. Well, that's all we have in this edition of Entertainment News, and I've been your presenter, Abdul Mansari. Bye-bye.
From entertainment, moving on to sport updates.
Thank you very much. In this edition of the update, we turn our attention as the Sierra Leone Under-18 volleyball team has clinched silverware at the prestigious CAVB Youth Competition held in the Gambia, a proud moment for the nation. Well, to delve deeper into this impressive victory, our correspondent Abdul Kabir spoke with Ansumana Bangwa, Public Relations Officer of the Sierra Leone Volleyball Federation.
I think now they're in the country, I'm expecting the government, NOC and some other sports institutions to celebrate those boys, to know that they were there to fly the green, white and blue, and they represented Sierra Leone at that level, which other sports and discipline are really struggling to really get, because going there to play sometimes it's not about just go to participate like among 10 very strong volleyball country teams that are there, getting to that level where you got to the final and your country flag and being flown to that level. I think it's nothing that we give them the best support and support their aspirations and the whole thing.
And now in another development, meanwhile in Liberia, the Leon Stars have received a timely boost ahead of a crucial showdown as the fixtures in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Ethiopia set for Tuesday at the SK Stadium, where 2 players have added to the team as Mohamed Kamal of Baibua Warriors and Musa Kamal of Port Authority. Their inclusion injects fresh local energy in the team as they prepare for their decisive clash. Well, that's all we can share in this edition of the update. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Mohamed Lamitri, and goodbye.
From Mohamed Lamitri with Sport Update, that's how we draw the curtains of the news this morning. But before we go, a quick recap of our main point. The Sierra Leone Teachers Union has vowed to continue its nationwide strike action. The teachers downed their tools at the start of the new academic year on Monday over billions of loans in outstanding school subsidies. ECOWAS, in partnership with the government of Sierra Leone, is currently engaging young people from diverse MTAs on the Universal Prevention Curriculum for Substance Abuse Prevention. And the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Human Resource Management Office and Public Service Commission, has launched a digital recruitment platform. The initiative aims to recruit 3,000 health workers across all cadres through a digitized process. Well, from there, that's how we draw the curtains at the news this morning that came to you from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I have been your host, Esther Sapo. Stay tuned to your pop broadcaster, the SLBC, if you can. Up next is Good Morning Sierra Leone. Stay good.
In every city, every town, every village, a student dreams of success. A parent hopes, a teacher prepares. This is not just another program. This is the key to unlocking potential. Welcome to Learning Hour, an inspiring journey through English language and mathematics, designed for WASC candidates across Sierra Leone. Join us on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation television. Expert teaching. Focused lessons, real preparation. No distractions, no excuses, just learning. Because when we learn, we grow. When we grow, we rise. Learning Hour. Powering your future.
A place cannot produce poems. It can only not prevent them. And Freetown is good at that, for Freetown has its own sudden elegances. People are slow to leave it, quick to return. And there are others who come for a year or two and stay for a lifetime, sensing that they've found a city that is in the world, yet sufficiently on the edge of it to have a different resonance. Let me tell you something about this city. All of us, we're all just passing through, and we've all been here forever. Those who came, those who stayed, those who never returned. Tides turn, seasons change, we've waited and we've watched. But we've always been here. We've always listened, because there is a different resonance here. It comes from the river, and the land, and the sky.
It's our place, all of us.
This city belongs to everyone.
And you know when it's your time.
And it's our time.
Listen, we are Freetown.
The golden rules of Freetown.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not.
Don't go thinking you're better than anyone else.
Or that anyone else is better than you.
Don't shout about it. Get on with it.
We are Freetown. Freetown.
Freetown.
Yeah.
Today is Tuesday, the 9th of September 2025. A pleasant good morning to you and a warm welcome to your breakfast show. Good morning, Sierra Leone, the program that starts your day with analysis and views on current events in the country. I am your presenter, Esther Sako. Our quote of the day is from South African statesman Nelson Mandela, and it says, "To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity." Well, that's a food for thought. Coming up in this edition of the program, as the former VP Sam Sumana files complaints against APC with the PPRC, we shall be talking to the Chief of Staff, Sam 2028, the PPRC, and a political analyst. On this note, we invite you to participate in the program by sending your text message to the number displayed on your screen, or send your comments on our Facebook page at SLBC Live. The program you're watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the SLBC. Stay with us. Welcome back. The program you're watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the SLBC, and you can be part of the program by sending your text message to the number displayed on your screen, or send your comments on our Facebook page, slbc.sl. Well, it's time for us to usher in our guest. The Political Parties Registration Commission, PPRC, has confirmed the receipt of a formal complaint from the former Vice President Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana against the ruling All People's Congress Party. Well, the complaint raises concerns about his bid to contest the party's leadership and flag bearer position. PPRC Executive Secretary Olusogun David provided insight into the submission, noting that the letter included evidence of payments made by Chief Samsumana to clearly previously owned party dues. This payment is said were intended to settle all outstanding obligations within the APC, supporting the former Vice President's eligibility to pursue leadership roles. For more on this, we have Lucien Momo, the Director of Internal Relations and Training at the Political Party Registration Commission. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
So tell us, because it's confirmed there that you've confirmed that there is a receipt of payment. So what role will PPRC play in all of this issue with regards to the complaints brought forward by former Vice President Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana?
Let me preface my answer with this statement that by provisions of the Political Parties Act 2022, Act number 25 of 2022, we are bound to mediate conflict between members of political parties. Unlike the Political Parties Act of 2002, Act number 3 of 2002, which states that when approached, but for us, even if we are not approached by Alhaji Chief Samsumana, by fact that we are invited to a press conference, and by fact that we listen to what he said during the press conference, and as a matter of fact that he sent us a formal complaint again, we are bound to look into the complaint raised hearing. In his complaint, it's titled formal complaint against the All People's Congress APC for unlawful expulsion, unlawful reinstatement by conduct, and unconstitutional party provisions pursuant to sections 12 2A and B and 34(1) of the Political Parties Act 2022. And in that particular letter, he brought up 3 issues. One of the issue include the unlawful expulsion of 2015. The second issue is the post-expulsion conduct of the APC party. And this includes his payments and acceptance of backlog dues, and also acceptance of flag bearer nomination fees for the 2023 elections. And the third issue he brought up is failure of internal redress, which means he had he has exhausted internal mechanisms to address these issues, and for him, he says the party is unable to address his issues. And in the letter he highlighted 3 prayers for relief, and this includes he directs for the PPRC to direct the APC party to put out public notice that his expulsion of 6 November 2015 was unlawful, unconstitutional, void ab initio. And the second relief was to order the APC party to officially recognize his continuous and uninterrupted membership status, honoring its own conduct of reinstatement through the acceptance of payments of his dues and fees, including presidential nomination fees paid. And also the third is to issue a declaratory statement that Article 56B of the APC 2022 Constitution is inconsistent with sections 35, 2 and 41 of the National Constitution, and directs the APC to amend it accordingly. And fourthly, to compel the APC Secretariat to correct his membership records and card to reflect his true status and original membership date. And finally, he is praying that the PPRC makes any further orders as the Honorable Commission may deem fit and proper to address his situation. We received this correspondence on the 3rd of September, on the same day that he held the press conference. And as I informed the public on Sunday, on AYV on Sunday, yesterday we sent in a letter to the All People's Congress Party, to the National Secretary General, informing the party through him that we're in receipt of a complaint from Alhaji Chief Samuel Samsumana, making these allegations and asking the party to provide us with response to these allegations, brought in by the former vice president. And we've given the party 14 days to ensure that we get the response, because at the end of the day, his response will be sent back to Chief Alhaji Samsumana for his attention, and then he, of course, Chief Samsumana, will tell us if he is okay with the response given by the party, or if he is not okay. And then if he is not okay, then we'll bring them to a mediation table.
So Lucien, as the PPIC has any cases of such nature that has to do with party internal affairs with regards their internal constitutional clauses, has there been any incidents of such nature before now?
It's part of our mandate. I can reference there was an issue in the UNPP sometime in around 2011, 2012, wherein the chairman of the party had to expel 2 or 3 members of the party, and then that complaint was brought to us, and then we sent the complaint to the party. Their response were not favorable to the complainants, and then we brought them to the mediation table, and on the mediation table we found out that due processes were not followed. So in that regard, we had to nullify the expulsion done by the chairman, because he did not have the locus standard to expel by himself.
Okay, and just with us on the program is Lucien Momo, is the Director of External Relations and Training at the PPIC. While former Vice President of Sierra Leone Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana has delivered a strong and uncompromising message to the nation, reaffirming that the Constitution of Sierra Leone remains the supreme law above all individuals, institutions, or political interests. Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, September 3rd, Chief Samsumana underscored his lifelong commitment to defend constitutional governance, stressing that unity and respect for the rule of law are the bedrock of Sierra Leone's peace and development. Recalling his controversial removal from the vice presidency in 2015, Chief Samsumana described it as unconstitutional and unjust. He explained that his departure from Sierra Leone at that time was not an act of surrender, but a deliberate step to prepare for a greater responsibility. Well, for more on this, we have the Chief of Staff of SAM 2028, Brahma Michael Touye. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
Okay, so during the press conference on Wednesday, Chief Samsumana made a mention of a particular clause in the APC's constitution that has to be with clause 56B. So let us know what are the concerns regarding this clause 56B that Samsumana is raising concerns on.
Well, even before making reference to the clause, the general discussion within the APC and the general publicity that we have had from the National Publicity Secretary and members of the publicity team is that Chief Samsumana is not qualified to participate in the coming flag bearer race in 2026. And so I think they make a reference to that clause before, but now the reference is being made to a ruling by Justice Adrian Fisher. So now they're jumping from the Constitution itself, the 56B, to a ruling. So we don't know where they stand right now. But as far as the Constitution itself, that clause that you just made reference to, Chief Samsumana would not be worried about that clause for a number of reasons. Because on the 10th of September 2020, the APC through the National Secretary General then, Ambassador Usman Fodians, after a NAC meeting in which they decided that Chief Samsumana should return to the APC, was instructed to send a letter of reinstatement to Chief Samsumana. Keep in mind, on the 7th of January 2020, Chief Samsumana had sent a letter to the APC saying that he wanted to come back. And so it took 8 months. On the 10th of September, the same 2020, the NAC met. But here is the interesting part, because this is very important for people to know. On that day that they met, it was Corona time. So public gatherings were prohibited. And so, but at that material moment, their time had also expired, their time in office. So they needed to extend their time in office in order to be legal to do anything beyond that point. So on that very day, in their constitution, 1995 constitution at the time, there is a provision there that says, in periods of emergency, the NAC, National Advisory Committee, which is the second highest decision-making body, could perform the role and functions of the National Delegates Conference, which is the highest body, to carry on with the affairs of the party. So because they needed to extend their time in order for them to be legal, on that day they invoked that part of the constitution. And so at that material moment, they were already a National Delegates Conference, because otherwise they could not have taken the decision of extending their time like they did at that time. It was that same day, on that same day, that they approved Chief Samsumana's return, his reinstatement. He wrote a letter to say, I am requesting to be reinstated. In the response that went back to him on the 10th of September from the National Secretary General, after that NAC meeting, it stated that we have received your letter requesting reinstatement and we have unanimously, with no abstention and no objection, agreed to reinstate you. Your suspension or expulsion, has been lifted.
That was in what year?
2020. 10th September 2020. So, from that day, Chief Samsumana became a member of the APC. It's procedural, it's a process. Reinstatement is a process. The NAC has said, we have reinstated you. But in the letter it says, to be endorsed at a National Delegates Conference. So you can now see the absurdity there. At that material moment, they were already a National Delegates Conference. But in the letter, and they quoted Article 8 in that letter, if you look at the 1995 Constitution of the APC, there's nothing in Article 8 that states anything like to be endorsed at the National Delegates Conference. It's not there.
The party is using a new constitution.
Okay. So, if we're talking about a new constitution, a decision was taken under the 1995 Constitution. But just like every other constitution, you have what you call provisional clauses. Okay? Transitional clauses, sorry. So in the 1995 Constitution was when Chief Samsumana was reinstated and a letter was sent to him. When this new constitution was made, the 2022 Constitution, in Article 81 of that Constitution, it states, upon the coming into force of this Constitution, which is the new Constitution, the Constitution of the party of 5th December 1995 shall cease to have effect. That's the repeal clause. It repealed the 1995 Constitution. However, Article 82A of that same 2022 Constitution states, notwithstanding the provision in Article 81, nothing done under the authority of this Constitution, which is the 1995 Constitution, shall be regarded as invalid. It's there. They know it's there. That letter becomes valid even with the 2022 Constitution, because it's stated there that nothing done under the 1995 Constitution shall be regarded as invalid. So why would they think that because they gave the letter under the 1995 Constitution, it is no longer valid in the 2022 Constitution? The transitional clause makes it valid. So we have that letter. But now they are quoting something else. Now probably they felt defeated that they cannot hold him down with that particular clause. Now they are saying there is a ruling in 2022 by Justice Aidan Fisher that everything that executive did from 2017 to 2022 It's illegal because they at that time were illegal or illegitimate, and therefore everything they did was illegal. Now that's what they're banking on. That, well, it was in 2020, within that period, that a letter was sent to Samsman, and therefore the letter is invalid. But here is the interesting part, because it's very important for the world to listen to this. It is the same executive that selected Dr. Samura Kamara as flag bearer for the APC. The same executive. The same executive that they said is illegal, because the letter they sent to Chief Lansmana is null and void because the executive is illegal. It's the same executive that selected Dr. Samura Kamara as flag bearer in 2018 and 2023. Is he an illegal flag bearer? We have to think about that. It is that same executive, illegal executive, according to them, that gave symbols to our members of parliament from 2018 right through 2023. Are those illegal members of parliament? Can they handle that? It is the same executive that put together the Constitutional Review Committee that reviewed the 1995 Constitution and gave us the 2022 Constitution. Is that document illegal because the team that put it together is illegal, because those that selected them are also illegal people? So they have to be very careful when they're running after one person and using one thin thread of a ruling to disqualify him, because it brings out a whole lot of trouble for the party. How can they handle all of these other things?
So, listening from members of the APC media team, they are saying that Alhaji Samsumana became reinstated as a member of the APC in 2023.
Well, that is the contention there. That's the reason why we're at the PPRC now. Because if you give a card to someone and you say they are honorary foundation member, it's in the card. But you say they are new member, then that's absurd. Someone has to look at that to say, no, probably there has been a mistake here, or there has been some kind of deliberate attempt to render this person ineligible to participate in something. Because you cannot say I'm a honorary foundation member and it's in the card, and you say I'm a new member.
But they are saying it was reinstated in 2023.
No, it was not.
And this particular clause says the person should be 5 years consecutive.
It was reinstated in 2025, and they know that. We have the letter. It's all part of what we have submitted to the PPRC. They know that. They have the letter. What's interesting is that when the now new National Secretary General came into office, he never had any of these documents. We had to provide them to him. We had to make copies and give them to him, so he will see exactly what happened. You cannot say because you were not National Secretary General in 2020, therefore whatever you find in 2022 or 2023 is what you're going to go by. I mean, when President Bill came into office, he did not say all the contracts that were signed by the APC, I'm not going to honor because I was not president at that time. That's not how people behave. Okay. Institutions don't behave like that. It's continuity.
Okay, can you stay with us on the program? I have to bring you in a political analyst who is Dr. Victor Bonina. Good morning, welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
So what is your perception with regards to the Samsumana issue versus the APC?
So like I said in your sister program, Monica Fee, this is a very important and significant event. This is because what happens now to Chief Samsumana and the APC is what we would see come 2028 elections, because Sierra Leone is at crossroads and we are looking at having a new dispensation, having a new political makeup of the country for the next 5 or 10 years. So like I also mentioned this morning, if you look at the trajectories that have been happening before within the APC party, whenever it comes to electioneering process, it takes a lot of push and pull before we could actually get the person that would emerge as the flag bearer. So I hope this one will be rectified and things will go normal, because as it is at the moment, so many names have been mentioned for the flag bearer position, and Chief Samsumana is but one of those names who we all know that is causing a lot of problems and contention, even for the opposition party that is the ruling party now in Sierra Leone. So I believe that this is something that we should not trivialize. I hope PPRC can be able to rectify it amicably. But if not, I know that they will go to another source of redress, but it should be addressed.
So what do you think of this clause that was put in the Constitution by the APC?
That question should go directly to the APC. It was made by them. I am not a member of the APC.
You're an analyst.
Yes, but then when clauses and documents are made, especially when it comes to constitutions, things are made preemptively. They are not made because they want to react to a situation. They are made in the mindset that in the event this happens, this is what we can do. And therefore, I believe that that clause is not just for one person. It's going to be for every other person that comes within the party. But then there were a series of interesting things that happened. I could remember this morning some names were mentioned, especially for somebody that left CDP and came back to the APC and contested as flag bearer. So this is something that is very serious. So when you make laws and when you make documents, you should not think only for one person. You should think of how the impact will be. Today we are talking about Sansumana. Tomorrow might be somebody else. And what if that somebody else is somebody that is stronger than the one that we have now? Can we use the same constitutional amendment or the constitutional part of what we want to talk about? So we should not just think about it. Even in Sierra Leone, that's the problem we have. Most of our documents we have, our policies, our laws, our constitution, people interpret it only to suit their own comfort. And most time it should not be like that. It should be something that should be reflective on everybody. As we always say, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. So everybody should be able to.
So do you foresee any potential unintended consequences if these clauses are being retained by the APC?
I don't want to be preemptive. Let us wait and see what happens. If it happens, then we can now have a new thing to look at. But then what I'm actually thinking about is I'm sure that we could reach at crossroads where both the APC and Chief Sansumana would meet at an amicable point.
I'm still baffled. What is your stance?
My stance is I'm waiting for PPRC. I'm not PPRC. I am not APC. I am not the court. I'm just a Sierra Leonean looking at events as they unfold, and then I could be able to give my own analysis of it. But as it is right now, it is dicey. That I'll tell you for a fact, and we want to see what really happens at the end of the day.
Okay, continuing to stay with us on the program is Dr. Victor Moinina, and we also have Lucien Momon from the PPRC, and also Brahma Michael Toure is the Chief of Staff of SAM 2028. Well, we go for a health tip of today, and today we look at the difference between an heart attack and a cardiac arrest. Cardiologist Jacqueline Tamis Holland, MD, explains what sets them apart, why timing matters, and what you can do to protect your heart health. Let's watch and learn.
So a heart attack is a situation in which there's a blockage in the artery, or there's temporarily poor supply to the heart muscle because of poor blood flow to the heart muscle. Most often it's due to either a temporary blockage in an artery that has a severe blockage and it's temporarily totally closed, or a total closure of the artery that lasts for a long period of time. And so when the artery closes up, oftentimes it's due to clot, there's no blood flow to that part of the heart muscle. And if it's a large artery, you will not have blood flow to that heart muscle, and over time, if you wait too long, that heart muscle can die. A cardiac arrest is when the heart stops. So arrest means stop. The heart stops for any of a number of different reasons. Sometimes it stops because of a fatal arrhythmia because of a heart attack, but other times you can have a serious arrhythmia for other reasons, and the heart will stop for that reason. So a cardiac arrest is different. That is much more serious. And if you have a cardiac arrest, that's what probably people fear so much, because unless you get to the hospital and immediately get resuscitated, the survival is very poor. Everybody, whether you're at risk for heart disease or not, should follow a healthy lifestyle, and that includes regular exercise. It should be moderate intensity aerobic activity, about 5 days a week for 30 minutes at a time, or about 150 minutes. In addition, you should eat a heart healthy lifestyle, and that's what the American Heart Association recommends.
Welcome back. The program you're watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, and you can be part of the conversation by sending a text message to the number displayed on your screen or send your comment on our Facebook page. We still have a Chief of Staff Assam 2028, Brian Michael Tui in the studio, and we also have Lucien Momo, the Director of External Relations and Training at the Political Party Registration Commission, and also we have a political analyst who is Dr. Victor Moinina. Well, let me bring you in, Mr. Brian Tui. You were making a lot of submissions with regards the consequences that might have on your candidate. So let's talk more on the consequences. What are the consequences you think this clause will have on your candidate?
Well, before, but even in 2023, and if we had gone by the national constitution, what it says about who is qualified to go for to contest for the presidency of this country, we would still have had a very strong case to put forward. But we let bygones be bygones, we let things slide. So, but we are not going to tolerate this time anyone trying to disenfranchise him, because from 2020 to 2025, September this year, 2025, on the 10th of September this year, Chief Shams Mana is 5 years in the APC. That's what the letter of reinstatement states clearly. He was reinstated. Reinstatement, like I said, is a process. It's like you are hired for a job here at the Slbc and you are given a year probation. At the expiration of the probation, your appointment does not start on the day the probation expires. It starts on the very day you were appointed. So it's the same here. He was given a letter of reinstatement in 2020. Right there he became a member. That membership was only qualified at the National Delegates Conference in 2023, when no less a person than former president and the former chairman and leader of the party, Anas Baikuruma, stood there in the full view of all the delegates and said, APC na Kumra party not so. We should all come together if we want to win the elections. Is that not so? And everybody yelled, yeah. And so all those who either left because they were aggrieved, all those who were suspended, all those who were expelled, should they all come back to the party? And the delegates, everybody, yes, let them come back. That was an affirmation of that letter in 2020, that reinstatement letter, because it needed a National Delegates Conference to endorse it. The same way, same pattern that they used when they expelled him at Bintimani on the 30th of April 2015. I was there. I sat there and I saw chairmen standing up, regional chairmen standing up and saying, where I don't consult, after I have consulted with all my district chairpersons in my what do you call it, region, we have all come to the conclusion that we are towing the line with the party and supporting them in expelling the former vice president. And people here, yes, that was the same pattern. So if you expelled him through a particular pattern and you brought him back through that same pattern, I don't see anything wrong in that process. It's the same process. So right there, that letter of reinstatement was qualified by that pronouncement and that acclamation by the delegates who were present at the time. So you cannot hold him down on a 56B or whatever it is clause in the Constitution, because 10th of September this year, he is 5 years in the APC, from 2020 to 2025. By next year, he is overqualified to participate in the flag bearer race. If you're drawing a ruling, you're now going away from this, because throughout this time, the National Publicity Secretary and the team, everybody would go out there and say the man is not qualified because of that clause. But now that they have seen that very clearly that they can no longer hold him down with that clause, they are now coming up with the ruling. And so, but how can you leave all of these other things that the ruling actually also affected and focus on just this letter? It's a thin thread of defense or argument that anyone can bank on. The premise is faulty, so the syllogism fell apart. So they have to understand these things. They say no draw rope, draw bush. That is what they're doing. You are chasing one person on one thing, but that particular premise that you rely on is also creating problems for a whole lot of other things. So they have to be very careful. So as far as we're concerned, as far as the National Constitution, Article 41, it's very clear. You have to be a citizen of this country. You have to belong to a political party, which is what Sam Hannah is, a citizen of this country. He is a member of the APC by virtue of his honorary foundation membership card, regardless of the date that they decided to put on it. You have to be 40 years and above, and he is 40 years and above. And you have to be qualified to be a member of parliament, and he is qualified to be elected member of parliament. 4 main things, that's it. Any other thing does not really count. So, but it's not a matter for me. I'm not a law student, I'm not a lawyer. And so it's left with the people who understand about laws. Lucian is here, he's at BPRC, they know the law better than I do. And so they will deal with those issues when the time comes.
Okay.
So, but that's all there.
So what are the expected outcomes that Samsimana aim to achieve by taking this matter to PPRC?
Well, we have exhausted all the internal processes of grievance redress. We went through the elders council of the party. They tried their best. They made their recommendations to the party that this man should come back to the party unconditionally. The NAC met, second highest decision making body. We were there, we were called upon. We were there, we presented our case to the NAC. In summary, at the end of the day, after the lawyer, the head of the legal team, Lawyer African Association, gave his own presentation on the matter, it was resolved that we would have a press conference where they would make the announcement public to the world that Chief Samsimana is returning back to the APC unconditionally. That never took place, never happened. And so after that, we went to verify. We went to the party office to verify, submitted all evidence of his payments and past ID cards and everything. They processed the verification and they produced a card that stated honorary foundation member, because the constitution said he was president, vice president, speaker of the house, and all of that. Those categories fall under that honorary foundation category, and so he, being a former vice president, fell within that category, and so he's a honorary foundation member. The only problem now is, he said, his membership started in July 2023. That is what the problem is. That's why we're at the PPRC. Because after we saw that, we decided to bring the matter to the last organ, which is the Grievance and Disciplinary Handling Committee of the party. 3 weeks they deliberated on the issues, back and forth. At the end of the day, they said they did not have any jurisdiction to settle this matter. So basically, it was like telling us, you can take your matter anywhere else. And the only other place that we have is the PPRC. So that is the other step before we can go to any other thing, whether a court or whatever. So that's why we are at the PPRC, so we don't jump the steps. Now it is the responsibility of the PPRC, as mandated by law, to help look into this whole thing and see how best they can help us resolve this issue. So that's where we are at this point.
Okay, Mr. Let me bring you in. You heard from Mr. Brahma Touye said that the matter is with PPRC, and you, before we left you and went to you were saying they've written a letter to the APC. You have written a letter to the APC. So what other step after the letter would the PPRC take with regards to the matter?
Okay, in the letter sent, they also included the sworn affidavit in support of all what they are alluding in their complaint, and they also included a letter from Honorable Dr. Django Stevens, written on the 6th of February 2015, and there are also bundle of payment receipts, in bracket backlog dues and nomination fee, and also there's a letter from Lawyer Zachariah Denke, dated 18th February 2022, and there is also excerpt of a High Court judgment delivered by the Honorable Justice Adrian Fisher J. On the matter between Conte versus the APC and others, dated 28th April 2022. What we are going to do is that we are going to we've started looking into all of these evidences as annexes sent to us to ascertain the veracity of it. So Now that we were waiting, we've given the party 14 days to respond to the complaint sent in by Alhaji Chief Samuel Sansumana. And when they've responded, we'll send the response to him, and then he will tell us if he is okay with the response sent. And then if he's not okay with the response sent, we're going to bring them together for both parties to present to us, their evidence. Their evidence with regards to complaint. We're already with the evidence from from Alhaji Chief Samuel Sansumana, and then if the party is going to send us their own evidence, we're going to look at those evidence that they will send and look at the weight of those evidence and the argument that they will bring therein, and ascertain the veracity of the arguments by both sides. But we are going to also make frantic efforts to ensure that both parties meet, sit, and decide on the way forward that they want to go. But if they are unable to settle this matter between them, the PPIC will then have to come out with our own ruling on this matter based on the arguments and the evidence brought forward by both sides.
So how do PPIC ensure that this whole process is transparent and there's fairness, to ensure that the right people that are supposed to get the rights, and those that won't get it?
As a matter of fact, when we go to the mediation table, we bring both sides to the mediation table, and for example, we'll ask both sides to come with maybe 10 members each or 5 each, because if we ask them to come, they might come with 100 or 200 people, and we don't have that space to accommodate them. So we'll restrict, the number of people that will be coming, and then we'll restrict the number of people that will be given preference, to make a case for both sides, and then the references made therein to the complaint, we'll also have to look at those references. We will even go to the extent of bringing in elders of a party that we know both sides can listen to. For us, we know individuals that the Honorable former Vice President believes in and can listen to, and we know people of high respect and caliber in the APC, that the APC party or the secretariat or the national officers of the party can listen to, because in this all, what's our main focus is to get them together. That is why I initially said earlier that the waypoint that will ask them to go and sit as a party and come back to us with what they want as a party. But if they cannot, and then we will use their laws, and the national law, to come out with our own decision on the matter. So
in all this, Lucy, and you can agree with me that a timeline is very much important in this. So what is the expected time frame for all this to be settled?
I cannot give a specific timeline. The timeline depends on the Alhaji Chief Sansumana team and then the leadership of the APC. We might say, let's deal with this issue for a week or 2. But if they are not ready to deal with it for a week or 2, we can drag on, until there is a final solution. But they should also have in mind that the tenure of this current executive expires in February 2026, and they only have an option of 6 months renewal, for them to adhere to their lower level elections, and also to go to their convention. So both parties, should be mindful that time is not friendly with them. So they must ensure that they make the process very simple, very short, and very straightforward for them.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Moinina. So let's talk as an analyst. Let's talk on the legal implications you see this to have on not only Samsumana but other people that want to stand for such position, because you made mention that this is already a precedent. So if this is set precedent, what legal implications do you think this will have on other parties?
Well, just like it has happened before, I would foresee that if the PPRC is unable to give its credible and unbiased answer to both parties, it will lead to a court injunction. That is what happened to the APC even in 2007, when it was rectified by the late editorial, called all parties involved, they got their flag bearer, and they won the elections. So I see that this is something that might occur, but I am not praying that we get to such level. Reason being, number one, it's time consuming. The second thing, it's also very expensive, because going to the court means you have to give financial resources at the end of the day that you should have used to galvanize your support and win the elections. They're now going to seek redress and all of these things. So I wouldn't want us to go to such levels. It's possible that it might happen, because you know, when it comes to issues of politicking, everybody has a huge flair, and the aspects of people wanting to protect their self and their ego and their sentiments is very much high, and therefore it should be something that we should not pray that we get to such. But if it gets there, then they should be prepared for that. But at the end of the day, one thing I want us to realize is this, that 2028 is not just another election. 2028 is a transition election. It's possible that another party might win and get into office, replacing the Sierra Leone People's Party. It might even be that we might have a new offspring of a political party that will come. We never can tell. I am not a soothsayer. I'm not saying this because I'm foreseeing the future. I'm saying this because I'm looking at precedents. But again, it is possible that the ruling party might want to put somebody there that they think should continue the legacy of that party. It has happened in West Africa. Look at Nigeria, for instance. We thought that it was going to be a change of government. Then, of course, we have the APC continuing their rule in Nigeria. So we should not sweep these things under the carpet. These are things that are possible to happen. But again, it's also possible that if they put themselves together based on what has happened in the past. If you remember, before 2007, the APC was in a lot of issues. It took Obituary and others to unify the party and say, let's forget about all of our differences. Let's come together and push our party forward. Then they brought somebody that was not even within the APC. He was in PDP by then. He left the PDP, became a flag bearer, and won the elections for them in the person of Dr. Ernest Baikoma. So if we are going to have such again happen, I think it should be better. But then I still hold on to the stance that Sierra Leone is bigger than everyone. Let us think Sierra Leone. Let's see how best we could have a better country for all of us. I will tell you for a fact, the last 7 years has not been a very smooth one. We all know, you know, I know, everybody in Sierra Leone knows that things are not going well according to plan. But then, let's see how best we could make it better for us.
So, are there recommendations you could make with regards to this issue?
Well, like I said, I don't want to sound too political. Of course, I have a PhD in governance and regional integration, but that doesn't mean I know everything about governance structure. You know, it also means that I have limitations as to some of it. The moment last night I was speaking with somebody and they were telling me, so what do you think about the SLPP? So what do you think about the APC? And I told them that you should ask me what do I think about Sierra Leone, because when you talk about these parties are there. They could leave. Another party would come into existence. But then, how do we move our country forward? How do we make Sierra Leone better for Sierra Leoneans? Is it something that we should just talk on paper? If you look at my publications, I have well over 70 publications talking about governance, regional integration all across Africa. But what is one central thing that remains is that Africa is for Africans. If we take our continent and make it our own, it should be better for all of us. But most times we leave the governance of the structure. And one thing I've observed about society is very interesting though, that when you go to school, the brilliant students, like some of us, become professors, doctors, engineers. Then those that are not too brilliant, they can become pastors and others. And then those people that we think that society has rejected, they become our politicians. And guess what? The politicians control all of us. So even though you might have the intellectual ability, you might have the soundness of mind, but are you willing to lead? And even within the APC now, I'm seeing some interesting names that I've seen that some of us, we know ourselves when we were in the university, some of the games that we played for politicking, now we see them coming in as flag bearers, and I'm smiling. And when I see some of them, I'm like, wow. And this was, anyway, let me not delve into that properly. But then, these are the issues that we're talking about. So let us think about how best we could have Sierra Leone at the centerpiece of attraction, and let us forget more about party politics and things nationally.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Victor Moinina is a political analyst, and he has been taking us through issues that has to do with the complaint made by former VP Samsumana and what the country can do regards governance. So I still have Brahma Michael Tuye. So let's say if PPRC rules in favor or against Samsumana, what are the next steps that he will take to ensure that his presidential ambitions are achieved?
Well, if the PPRC rules in favor of Chief Samsumana, then it's a continuation of the path that we have taken to securing the flag bearer of the APC and eventually the presidency of this country. If they rule against Chief Samsumana, depending on the strength of the premise upon which that ruling is taken, we will examine it and see what next we can do. It may not be that we are going to take any other step if we're satisfied with the ruling. I mean,
and if you're not,
if we're not, then we will probably pursue the next step to ensure that we actually have a fair judgment on the matter. So that's where we are at this point.
Okay,
so either way, we have been ready throughout the time to negotiate. We've tolerated a whole lot of things, disrespect here and there and all of that, the publicity team going out there and saying all kinds of things, until quite recently that the National Publicity Secretary is saying he does not have the authority to tell anyone about who is qualified and not qualified. But all of this time, almost 2 years, you've been out there telling people Samsumana is not qualified. Now you've come to yourself to say, oh, I do not have the authority. That's absurdity to the highest degree, but let it be what it is. Now the matter is with the PPRC. It's a very credible institution of governance, and we rely on what we have submitted, and we are willing at any time to come and defend what we have submitted, just so that we have closure on this matter.
Okay, Lucien, let me bring you what will be your words of assurance to members of the public and to the Chief of Staff for SAM 2028 and also the DC party with regards to that.
Well, of course, I think as Dr. Moinina said, when the APC was in Nisari in 2005, the matter was taken out of court and brought to the PPRC. It was settled, and then they won the 2007 elections. Even for the 2023 elections, they thought they were not going to participate in that elections, but were ensured that they came together as a party and contested the elections. We've done the same for the SLPP. What I would say to the public is that we are going to use our conscience, and the Political Parties Act, and the Supreme Law of Sierra Leone, the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6 of 1991, and then we're going to look at the Constitution of the All People's Congress. I think that is their primary source of law, so let them be well assured that we're going to ensure that we exercise all options, look at all of the issues, brought forward by the SAM 28 team, and ensure that we create a level playing field, for all of them. But what I will say to them, or if they can, have the opportunity before the end of the 14 days to come together as a party to solve their issues, then it is fine. We're always already willing to ensure that we keep political parties together.
Many thanks there to Lucien Momo, is the Director of External Relations and Training at the Political Party Registration Authority. But from there, move on to another segment of the program, which has to do with a review of our local tabloids. The first speaker I have here this morning is the Africa 24 Communications newspaper, and its banner headline says, Chief Captain, APC Executive, draw daggers. First National Forest Inventory starts in Southern region. SLRSA ED affirms to implement Africa Road Safety Charter. Well, these stories and many more you can find on the Africa 24 newspaper. My next speak is the Awareness Times, and the banner headline says, as PPRC asks to adjudicate differences, Samsumana and APC hold varying views. ACSL updates stakeholders on tripartite recommendations. These stories and many more you can find on the Awareness Times newspaper. Independent Observer newspaper says, Kush killing Sierra Leone's tomorrow. Night of Unity and Purpose, Unique United Sisters Fundraiser 2025. WIMSAL members and a 2-day training in Kenema. These stories and many more you can find on the Independent Observer newspaper. Pyramid newspaper banner headline says 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifications. Leon Stars hosts Ethiopia today. Fatima Bio joins Global Summit, and MPRA signs MOU with Standards Bureau. These stories and many more you can find on the Pyramid newspaper. My final pick here this morning is the Exclusive newspaper, and its banner headline says 48 jailed in Kenema, and APC wants Samsomanat, don't destroy your future. Keke bike riders extol TVS importer. SLPP suspends Flabia campaigns. Well, these stories and many more you can find on the Exclusive newspaper. Well, that's how we end a review of local tabloids and also the program Good Morning Sierra Leone that came to you from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Many thanks to my studio guest, Lucien Momo, the Director of External Relations and Training at the Political Party Registration Commission, and Brahma Michael Toure, who is the Chief of Staff of SAM 2028, and also Dr. Victor Moinina, who is a political analyst. Well, that's how we draw the curtains of the program. Good Morning Sierra Leone returns tomorrow, same time, same frequency. We quickly take our quote of the day, and it's from the South African statesman Nelson Mandela, and it says, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Good Morning Sierra Leone returns tomorrow. Many thanks to my producer, Daphne Zaina Kamara. I have been your host, Esther Sako. Stay tuned to your public broadcaster, the SLBC, if you can. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup